So who is Aditi? In Vedic astrology, she is the mother of all the gods, what they call the solar gods, as well as her connection to the star Sirius. She is the return of the light, but her nakshatra belongs to Gemini with the two twins. Actually, it's associated with the star Pollux specifically. So we're going to find out just how the star Sirius is hidden in Vedic astrology.
Namaste everyone. So welcome to a series of videos dedicated to the nakshatras, the Vedic lunar mentions. And today we are going to talk about Punarvasu nakshatra. So you can see there's a bamboo behind me. Bamboo is actually a sacred tree of Punarvasu nakshatra. And you see, bamboo is a sacred tree not just of Punarvasu nakshatra, but also of Jupiter or Brihaspati, who happens to be the planetary ruler of nakshatra Punarvasu. And why is that so? You see, Jupiter is presiding graha over the ether element, the element of all embracing space. And if you look at bamboo, bamboo is empty inside, right? And interestingly enough, even the presiding deity of Punarvasu nakshatra itself is goddess Aditi, the Vedic divine mother, who was also considered a presiding deity of ether element. Because similarly, like ether, gives space for everything to grow, for everything to exist. So divine mother, nature, Prakriti, gives space for everything to grow. And same, like bamboo actually happens to be the fastest growing plant on our planet. So also Punarvasu nakshatra is very, very creative. So today we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. So Mother Aditi, she was actually the Vedic form of Mother Nature, who embraces everything, who gives space for everything to grow. That's why she's called Aditi, which means undivided, because she never divides, she never discerns, she never judges. In nature itself, there is space for everything and for everybody, good and bad. There's no this distinction on good and bad, no duality in nature itself. It's only dwelling in our mind. So Aditi, representing this creative principle of God so present in the creation itself, is presiding over this special nakshatra, and because of that also you will see that the natives who are born under this lunar mention, especially when moon is dwelling there, are very, very creative. They have plenty of creative ideas, actually. And sometimes you may even see that they have more ideas than they are actually able to realize. So that is their weakness too. They have lots of creativity, lots of divine inspiration, lots of, this passion to create. But because it's a very etheric nakshatra, sometimes, they need a little bit more grounding.
Punarvasu, the eternal rebirther. So the Sanskrit here is Adityai Punarvasu Vataha Prastat Ardramavastat. And the basic translation there is the eternal re-existence, or the eternal rebirther, needs the dried out to make moist again. So to explain this, basically, the basic nature of Punarvasu is that it's a symbol of cyclicity. The very word Punarvasu means to exist, Vasu, again, Punar, to become again, re-becoming, re-existing, rebirthing. And the goddess of this nakshatra is Aditi. And that if you know about Aditi, that's fantastic. You'll know a lot about her nakshatra just by knowing about her. But even if you don't know anything about Aditi, if you just look at the word Aditi, Aditi means undivided. Undivided means it doesn't have any parts. It's not countable. It's whole. It's circular. It's eternal.
As Santos Bonacci will explain with atom, this word.
right, which is Atum. Atum stands for one, unity, the number one. And Tom, without the A, is twin.
So the concept of this nakshatra is this circular re-existence, a cyclical re-existence, an eternal coming in and out of being. Really, it's about all sorts of cycles and everything, but the most fundamental cycle is the cycle of coming in and out of being, birth and death. So that's why the words used in this sutra are vata and ardra. So the cycle really is about vata. Vata means things which are very dried out, dried up, used up, old things, dead things. And then ardra avastat, ardra means things that are wet, just the opposite, moist, fresh, new, alive. So the cycle, the eternal cycle, at the basis of Punarvasu nakshatra, the star of the eternal re-existence, is the cycle of things becoming dried out and old and then being made fresh and new again. So the life lesson that I want to highlight, that Punarvasu really accentuates, is all about the problem of newness and variety versus stability and reliability, or responsibility versus adventure. So the real question is, everybody wants to enjoy newness and freshness. So how do you deal with things that are dried out and boring and old? How do you deal with boredom when your whole life is about a quest for excitement? Punarvasu wants things to always be getting juicier, always be getting fresher. So it's going to have a tendency to perceive things as currently being not juicy enough. The parastat of this nakshatra is vata. It actually needs to find dryness so that it can moisten the dryness. But if that doesn't function very well, if it malfunctions due to being aligned with an incompatible planet, or not really being well aligned with the rest of the nakshatras that are active in a chart, or just being one of the lessons that everybody needs to learn in life, if it just doesn't function well, then what happens is you just see things as dry, even though they're not. You unnecessarily see things as dry. So the problem is that our hunt for juicy, fresh newness is going to have a tendency to destroy our life by making the things that we already have seem dried out and old, right? So what's the solution? The solution is really in the word Punarvasu itself, which really means, it doesn't mean becoming something else. It means becoming again. It means re-becoming, reinvention, reignition. The word Vasu actually has a connotation of light. So even the word reignition is a nice translation of this phrase, Punarvasu, reigniting something. The nakshatra is really all about improving on an existing thing. And if you see it that way, then Punarvasu is going to work for you in a very healthy way. That Punarvasu drive to make things exciting and new and fresh, will work for you in a really great way. If you see it as, let's take this thing that we already have and improve on it. Let's find the dry spots in it and moisten them. But if you see it as, this thing is dry and old, I need to throw it out and get something new, yes, then it's going to ruin your life. So you see, you could be like a dog chasing its tail, looking for the newness and the happiness. Or Punarvasu, if it functions properly, instead of making you a dog chasing your tail, it can put you on a spiral staircase going up to the heavens. If you remember, the spiral will be centered on improving one thing. So that's the solution.
So this is Indra's mother. Her name is Aditi. She's an extremely important goddess. Her name, Aditi, means indivisible or irreducible. So you get two components there, Diti, which is like cognate with the English word digit. And Aditi means undigitable, uncountable. So it means something which mathematics cannot be performed on it. It can't be counted. It's infinite. It's indivisible. It can't be split. Diti also is cognate with the word divide. So Aditi means like indivisible, irreducible. So here's this goddess. Her nakshatra is Punarvasu. And her name is Aditi. She's the goddess of space. Why is she the goddess of space? Because that's what's Aditi. Space is Aditi. Space is infinite, and it doesn't have countable particles. Now, you may be thinking of astronomical space that we think of these days, or if you're more on the page with Vedic thinking, you're thinking of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and then space. So that space, that's the 5th element, is the actual vacancy of the space that we think of astronomically. It doesn't have any countable elements to it. It doesn't have any divisible parts. It's a big, gigantic container for everything else. And there's nothing, physically speaking, there's nothing beyond space. So space is irreducible, or Aditi. There's nothing creating space. Space is the creator of everything else, physically speaking. Though if you go beyond physical things, space is created by something called manas, which is mind. Space is the foundation of all tangible reality and the source of all the tangible elements used to create tangible things.
And finally, for this video, the channel 9 World Chronicles.
Aditi is a Hindu mother goddess who is regarded as the personification of the earth, and bearing both the earth in her bosom and in her navel. Her name literally means infinity or free from bounds. She is symbolized by the immortal cow and is said to be the embodiment of unlimited light, consciousness, and unity. She is also said to be the mother of the god Vishnu, and she appears in the Veda, which is the sacred knowledge of the Hindu. She is said to be the consort of Brahma, but in other interpretations, she's actually the daughter of that very same god. She is also the mother of the Adityas, who were deities who protected the world from chaos and ignorance. She rules over the divine ordering of the world and is said to be able to free anyone who believes in her from all sickness and ills. Not only as the mother goddess, but she also took on the personification of a sky goddess and the earth goddess. Whereas in most early civilizations, there was always a sky father and a earth mother. This deity was actively worshipped from approximately 1500 BCE and still remains a strong deity for those who adhere to Hinduism and in some areas Buddhism as well. We see reflections of a sacred mother goddess in Kemetic and Kushite belief systems, but also in Germanic belief systems. So there is an association with the cow as being sacred and being tied to the mother, or this concept of a mother of the celestial gods.
So as you can see, channel 9 World Chronicles associates Aditi with the voodoo goddess Oshun, which is very significant. Just keep that in mind for later. I'm going to explore a little bit on voodoo culture in a future video. In the next video or two, we're going to delve deeper into the identity of Aditi. Just who is she? And how she has evolved over time as a figure, as an icon, and as a character, and as an energy, as a character of the energy, or as an energy of the character. How she has evolved from east to west. West meaning spiritual death. So how has she died over the course of these centuries, over the course of these millennia? We're going to explore that in the next video.